most of the industrialized nations of the world, pollution is a fact of life. Those nations that we would call responsible recognize that the best way to protect human health and the environment is to reduce the generation of waste at its source. This is pollution prevention.
Companies that generate waste can't always afford to use expensive waste reduction technology. Fortunately, pollution prevention often requires only simple changes in company policy and the use of good operating practices, also known as good housekeeping. Here are two examples of how company policies or worker practices can generate unnecessary waste. Fred knows from his experience on the production line that he uses a gallon of adhesive during each shift. One day there is a mechanical failure and his machine is shut down 2 hours early. What does Fred do with the leftover adhesive? In many companies, he would just throw it away. Karen needs 1 pint of solvent to clean her process equipment, but her company storeroom stocks the solvent only in gallon containers and has a policy that opened containers cannot be returned to the storage cabinet. Karen sets the opened container on a shelf because she doesn't know what to do with it. And there it stays, along with other forgotten materials that end up as useless waste. These problems could easily be avoided. It is the workers, the people most familiar with an operation, who can suggest better policies or practices to reduce waste at its source. The important thing is that all workers must become aware of how their experience and suggestions can stop needless waste.
This program will take a look at the operating practices that can help your company reduce the generation of waste. The methods we'll be discussing are not only environmentally sound, but they're cost-effective as well. Waste is the personal responsibility of every individual. The employee's part in this is to recognize the waste streams generated at their workplace, to know the location of all waste collection points, and to always label hazardous waste at its source while it can still be easily identified.
You can deal with any waste if you know what it is. What causes most problems is witch's brew, mysterious waste mixtures found in the workplace that could be nearly anything. Companies that tolerate poor housekeeping practices, such as mixing processed waste with office trash, only make the problem worse. Poor record keeping and incomplete analysis of waste mixtures may lead to accidental dumping of hazardous waste in local landfills in violation of federal law. Another common problem is allowing unused corners of the workplace to become uncontrolled dump sites that are a guaranteed source of witch's brew. It is easier and cheaper to prevent hazardous waste from contaminating non-hazardous materials by keeping them separate in the first place. Waste segregation, also called source separation, is any measure that keeps different waste streams from coming in contact. There are 3 methods of separating wastes to reduce bulk and simplify on-site waste handling and disposal. Waste segregation by physical form separates liquid from solid waste. Waste segregation by toxicity separates highly toxic wastes from less hazardous concentrations. Waste segregation by type of contaminant separates hazardous materials both from non-hazardous materials and from each other. Failure to segregate wastes often results from incorrect or missing labels on waste containers. Enforcing good labeling practices prevents cross-contamination and reduces expensive analysis and treatment of hazardous waste mixtures. It is also a good idea to set up manned collection stations to check labels and prevent unauthorized use of waste containers.
No one wants to cause unnecessary waste. There are many ways to reduce waste, but the most important way is for each worker to know and use good operating practices on the job all the time. As a worker, you are the best source of knowledge about reducing waste in the workplace. Share your waste reduction ideas. They make a difference. A good pollution prevention program is a continuing effort, not a one-time shot. To be truly effective, reducing waste must be an everyday part of company operations. Remember, the bottom line is that pollution prevention pays.
The next video that you are about to see is a personal favorite that I would like to share to you. It is a video that has no words, but then it is so powerful to transmit the very message.